bet you've got an early meeting.
No, Yvonne.
Coffee's on.
Thank you. Sharon. Sharon, are you all right?
Smithy. Through here.
The 210 take his details of the usual mandate with a quick follow-up. That's a copy 610. BKC changing back to normal channel. Dead and unsuitable.
Looks like variables haven't been touched.
Figures.
Yeah.
The breaker wouldn't go to this much trouble.
Blood.
Victims?
Whoever was in the bath was covered in.
What's this?
Some kind of signature.
Photograph it.
Miss Anthea Bauer, Sir Edward's secretary. She saw a car tearing out, a red Maserati. Did you get the reg? It was the daughter's car. She was driving.
Red Maserati proceeding south on Lonsdale. Making a right into Gladstone Lane. You should have her in your sight. No, Roger. It's coming to rest. Thanks, fellas. Not a problem. Break some legs. Over. That's a Roger. And out.
Bit down market for a rich bitch.
She probably owns the street.
Where the hell is she?
What time is it?
It's just after 9 a.m.
Damn it. I slept in. What do you want?
I'm Detective Sergeant Santos from the Homicide Squad.
Do you guys want a cup of coffee?
Oh, thank you.
I can't believe I missed that appointment.
Miss Sinclair, I'm sorry to have to inform you. Earlier this morning, your father and stepmother were found murdered. Are you okay?
Yes, thank you, Sergeant.
We'd like you to come with us, Miss Sinclair.
Where to?
We believe you can assist us with our inquiries.
Oh. I get these blinding headaches like you wouldn't believe.
Miss Sinclair.
Do you want a cup of coffee?
No, thank you.
Do you want a cup of coffee?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know what you mean, Sergeant.
It's a simple question. Where were you earlier this morning?
I told you, didn't I?
Miss Sinclair,
Yes.
do you understand what I'm saying?
Of course I do.
Then can you answer the question?
Well, I can, but I don't know about the others.
Was there someone else involved?
There's always someone else involved.
Beth, how are you?
I just heard. You've been appointed by the court in the Sharon Sinclair case.
Well, you got your ear to the ground?
She's my client.
Oh, I see.
I could kick myself. I was planning on grabbing you for our side. In a celebrity case like this, you need the biggest guns you can get.
Well, maybe it won't be necessary.
You don't think she's fit to plead?
I've only just been appointed. I've no idea.
Oh, damn it. You're the best. I wanted you on our side.
I'll buy you lunch when it's finished.
Once you've advised, you're a free agent. You can appear as an expert for either side.
Should we be talking like this?
Well, we're not. Oh, promise me you won't join the prosecution.
Still living in Fitzroy?
At least not till you've talked to us. That's all I'm asking. I just don't want to miss out twice.
Moved to the city myself. Best thing I've ever done.
My QC is Malcolm Priest. Ooh. If I don't get you, he's going to bust my ass.
What was she like when she was arrested?
Unconvincing.
Lucid.
She tried not to be. She talked around in circles for 4 or 5 hours. Had a reputation for being a bit of an oddball.
She appeared to understand what was going on?
I think she understood just fine. Most people facing a murder charge request a lawyer.
So?
She asked to see her psychiatrist. He reckons she's got dissociative identity disorder, whereas it's more commonly known multiple personality disorder.
MPD.
Now, why couldn't Dr. Coonahan just say that? If she's mentally unfit, she doesn't have to stand trial.
That's right.
And that's up to you. Advocate, judge, and jury.
You have a problem with that?
Quite a responsibility.
Yes, it is.
Detective Sergeant Paul Santos.
Paul?
Doctor.
You two know each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I grab something to eat?
Sure.
So, you made it to homicide.
Can't keep a good man down.
It's good to see you.
Likewise.
So what do you make of all this? Hopefully a little more than your colleague.
Well, they say that judges get an instinct for guilt or innocence, and that all their lengthy judgments are a process of justification. Why should coppers be any different?
So you think she's faking too?
Multiple personality disorder. Which one do we arrest? You're disappointed.
I think I hope for better, yeah.
Well, what do you want? An open mind or an honest reaction?
Okay. I'll settle for honesty.
Okay. What if she's not fit to plead?
I think you know the answer to that one.
Yeah, she'll be committed to an institution and of Majesty's pleasure.
Where she'd stay for a very long time.
Or until she's cured. In which case she might be released.
Well, she's got MPD. That's very unlikely.
Yeah, but it's not impossible.
So?
If she stands trial and she's found guilty of murder, she can't profit from her crime. And about $80 million is going to go to someone else.
I can, but I don't know about the others. So, money's the motive, and the rest's an elaborate facade.
Something like that.
Except from what I know about it, multiple personality disorder is almost impossible to fake.
Is there someone else involved?
There's always someone else involved.
Psychoanalyze these.
How was that?
On the bathroom mirror. I guess that means she's crazy.
Does it?
Yes?
Dr. Jane Halifax?
Okay.
Hi.
Sharon, someone to see you.
Hello, Sharon. Do you know why I'm here?
I think so.
The courts appointed me to advise on whether you're fit to plead, or whether you can communicate properly with your lawyers and understand what's going on.
I can't believe what they're saying I did. Are you gonna tape me?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, I don't mind. Miss
Doctor Jane Halifax.
I'm not very good with names, Jane.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that too.
I have the worst possible memory. I could never work it out.
So what changed?
I found out what was wrong with me.
When was that?
About 4 years ago, I suppose. Helped explain a lot.
Such as?
Well, lots of things. Finding myself dressed in clothes that I can't remember putting on. Being somewhere and not knowing how I got there. I mean, do you know how scary that can be? I mean, I've had people come up to me in the street and they say they, know me.
You don't know who they are?
I've even woken up in bed with complete strangers.
What were we talking about just now?
I forget, I'm sorry.
What about other incidences where you lost blocks of time?
Oh, well, everyone's read about them. The trouble is, I can't remember half the crazy things I'm supposed to have done. Well, the governor's ball, the Queen was there. You must have read about that.
I vaguely remember something.
All I remember is everyone staring at me. And then I realised I was waist deep in a fountain wearing an evening gown I didn't want to wear in the first place.
And why did you?
Had to. Wicked stepmother made me. I was only 15. I was still doing what I was told.
When was the last time you, experienced a major time loss?
The other night. See, every time it happens, I'm so confused. I mean, what have I done now? How much damage have I hurt someone? Oh, God.
Can you remember anything at all about the other night?
I'd had a really busy day and I was very tired. And I took my makeup off, and I lazed in the bath for a long time and I went to bed early. In the morning I woke up and I had a headache. And I knew something wasn't quite right.
How did you know that?
I had makeup on.
Excuse me, Dr. Halifax.
Yeah.
Your secretary said I'd find you here. I'm Dale Coonahan.
Sharon Sinclair's therapist.
That's right. Could we have a word?
If it's about Sharon,
Just here to help. How you find, obviously, that's up to you. Sharon came to me just over 4 years ago. She was complaining of headaches, depression, anxiety.
Had MPD been diagnosed at that stage?
No. She'd previously been treated with drugs, mainly antidepressants and a concoction of incorrect diagnoses.
None of which explained her condition.
No, the only explanation that covers everything's MPD. As I'm sure you'll agree.
Much too early for me to have an opinion, Doctor. How many personalities are we talking about?
Oh, at least 12. I've got them all on tape. You can see them for yourself if you like. All the usual telltale signs were there in her psychosocial history.
Such as?
Oh, major blank periods in her life. Enormous energy. Use of plurals, us, we. At school, she was constantly accused of lying. Not to mention temper tantrums and some of the more outlandish things that have found their way into the dailies. She has had to endure a lot.
Was there childhood trauma?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there always is with this kind of diagnosis.
So she was abused?
Indeed she was. You're okay here. What are you feeling?
She feels fantastic.
Okay. Who are you?
She's a princess.
What's your name?
She's a princess. And this is her universe.
Okay, princess. Just want you to sit there, relax. Feel all right? I'm just going to switch off the camera, okay? Here we go.
My earliest memory is my mother's face in the nursery. Just so bright and serene with a blinding light behind her. It's like a Madonna. I get these flashes not connected to anything, like in a dream.
Do you remember your first day at school?
Yes. Don't you?
But you don't remember much after that?
Just images, like a collection of fragments.
From what age can you clearly recall things?
Well, apart from the obvious lapses, about 11.
Sharon, you talked with Dr. Coonahan about incidences of abuse.
Abuse?
Yeah.
No, you got it wrong.
Have I?
Yes.
You told Dr. Coonahan...
No, you must be mistaken. I mean, what are you trying to suggest?
Sharon, I just want to verify...
What, you mean my father? That's quite unbelievable.
Just get another tape. What are you feeling now?
Piss off! Leave us alone!
It's all right, I'm not going to hurt Sharon.
Everyone does.
Well, I won't. I just want to talk.
She doesn't want to talk to you.
Okay. How about we talk, then? I can see you're very angry.
You bet. You mind your own business.
What's making you so upset?
You are! Leave us alone! I hate you!
Why?
Because I do! You're asking me too many questions!
What's your name?
Too many questions!
Well, it would help if you gave me some answers. Look, I just want to help. I'm not going to hurt Sharon. We're not going to get anywhere unless you talk to me. If you don't talk to me, I'm going to have to leave.
Good! I hate you. You come in here and you ask these questions. I
Still working, Doc.
Hello, Paul.
Do you think this is a problem?
Probably not. You wouldn't be working yourself by any chance?
See, we have so much in common.
What have you got?
Do you know Sharon Sinclair studied law and psychology at university?
Up to a point, she dropped out in second year.
Yep, to go to America and study acting.
That she didn't mention.
I wonder why.
Well, you'd have to be a very good actor to fake multiple personalities.
Maybe she's a very good actor. She's extremely determined. Do you know she sued her father for the release of trust money left to her by her mother?
Yeah, I know.
And blew the lot. 750 grand in under 4 years.
Look, she's a self-indulgent, spoiled brat.
But it doesn't add up to murder.
Are you trying to influence me, Sergeant?
Probably.
Well, let me return the favour. See how you go with this. It's relatively accessible if you like that sort of thing.
Wouldn't have anything by Tom Clancy by any chance.
Take a look. Might surprise you.
Multiple personality. Penetrating the labyrinth.
Oh.
By Harold Haggett. Harold? Oh. Speak to me. Chapter 1. Long time since I've sat in this chair.
How have you been?
Up and down. I've functioned well enough most of the time.
Good.
My wife commits suicide for no apparent reason. I still think I should have known. Still think I should have realized something wasn't quite right. I'm still angry. Angry at the waste. Do you want to talk about something else?
Yeah.
Had any patients fall for you lately?
Oh, please.
Must happen most days. Ever thought about Coke bottle glasses? Wearing your hair up in a bun?
You still seeing Dr. Turkle?
Turkle? Only the once. He wasn't as pretty as you.
Well, that was the general idea.
But that's all in the past now, isn't it, Doc? We're doctor and patient no longer.
No. We're police officer and court-appointed advisor. It's still a problem.
I'm beginning to think you like it that way.
Sorry to keep you, Jane.
It's fine.
Please, have a seat.
I was just returning your tape.
Oh, well, there's more if you're interested.
No, maybe. I noticed you studied at the Birkin Institute.
Mm-hmm. You know it?
Yeah, I spent some time in the States myself. Who was your professor?
Jerome Bello. Have you read his books?
Yes, I have.
Repressed memory therapy does have its share of critics at the moment.
Was Sharon aware that she'd been sexually abused before she started therapy with you?
This is not a case of false memory syndrome, I assure you.
I asked Sharon about the abuse.
And?
Oh, she denied it.
It's a matter of trust. You're a complete stranger.
She also attacked me.
You know, it is really difficult to know exactly what you're dealing with here.
I merely asked her a question, Doctor.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Just, I'm concerned for Sharon, that's all. When she was at primary school, there was a boy for a short while who stood up for her.
Don't talk to Sharon. Don't hurt Sharon.
Sharon subsumed him into her own personality. He intervenes when things get difficult. I think this is Joey also. Her mother committed suicide when she was 6, around the time the abuse started. Don't have to be a psychiatrist to work it out.
Afternoon, Doctor.
Hi.
Well, surely there must have been other people around at the time who could confirm her story.
Oh, Anthea Bauer, but she'd never say a word against the old boy. Lecture theatre's this way. You're welcome to sit in.
Sorry, I've got other appointments.
Well, if there's anything else I can do.
I'll be in touch if there is. Thanks.
Hello.
Miss Bauer.
What is it?
I'm sorry to disturb you. I realise this is a distressing time for you. I'm Dr. Jane Halifax. I was hoping to talk to you about Sharon Sinclair.
I've got nothing to say.
I'm so sorry, Doctor. But it was Joey. He's a naughty boy, but he means well.
I'd like to know all about him.
Well, Joey, he thinks he's a tough guy. Perhaps you better have a look at these. This is Princess. She's such an optimist. Nothing gets her down. Nothing. Not like Vanessa.
Tell me about Vanessa.
Well, she doesn't like us talking behind her back. She's very spiteful, really, but it's not her fault. And she's got very expensive tastes. She's just never satisfied. Like Anthea.
Don't you like her?
Everyone's got a dark side, haven't they, Jane?
What does Vanessa represent?
Well, lots of things.
In a single word.
Obsession.
What's she obsessed with?
Guilt. She feels guilty.
What about?
That she lived and little sweetie died.
Little sweetie?
It's her twin. It was very sad, and we're all very upset about what happened. I'm sorry.
What did happen?
I told her she died. Poor little sweetie.
What do we got here? Say hello to the sergeant, Felicity.
Hello.
Another patient of Dr. Coonahan's, with quite a story to tell.
I used to do group therapy. It used to help.
With Dr. Coonahan?
Yes. Sharon Sinclair was part of that group.
Go on.
Well, sometimes, occasionally, we'd have psychodrama. That's acting out things to get them out of your system. And Sharon, she'd get right into it.
In what way?
I don't want to make any trouble. If I hadn't been approached, I won't appear in court. I just won't.
Just tell your story.
When she did it, psychodrama, she said she wanted to kill her father.
When was this?
About 6 months ago.
And what did the doctor do?
He got her to act out a scene where she was talking to her father as if he was there, not that he was. That's psychodrama. And she had this broomstick and she was smashing this chair. And she kept on smashing and swearing and smashing away, and the broomstick splintered into 1,000 pieces. Even then she didn't stop. She just went right over the top. The doctor had to stop her and calm her down. I never went back after that.
Why not?
Because it freaked me right out.
Where did you say this happened?
In psychodrama classes.
Fairly public place to plan a murder.
Does it suggest premeditation?
Oh, not necessarily. It could just mean she feared that's what might happen. Have you been able to talk to Jane Halifax?
Little.
Do we know what she thinks?
Not really.
Well, she recommends fitness to plead. I'd like to have her on our side. Juries love her. Well, do you think you can talk her around?
Oh, I'll see what I can do.
Good.
I actually enjoyed that. Most unexpected.
You never came when I asked you before.
No, I didn't, did I?
So can I assume this isn't work?
I've had a long day and I don't sleep. Seemed like a good idea.
Well, I was wrong. You're not commitment phobic.
Oh, but I am.
Then isn't this dangerous?
Perhaps I don't believe it'll work.
Well, I think this is a problem, Doc. Are you in therapy yourself?
Oh, no, it's overrated. Let's just say I'm working it through at a pace I feel comfortable with.
You're being very open.
Well, I have you at a disadvantage.
Well, I know some things. Somebody broke your heart. Some professor in America?
Maybe.
Wasn't he a married man with children?
Ah, yes, well, that's the commitment phobe's delight.
Well, I'm afraid I can't offer either.
Yeah, no. It'll never work.
I don't want involvement, Doc. I just want sex.
Oh, that's to the point.
A couple of cripples like us, we could do worse. I'm sure we both have, frequently.
Speak for yourself. Thanks for the music.
Thanks for the wine.
Shall we think this over?
Yep. Okay, I've thought it over. Let's do it.
I'm pretty bad at punishing myself if I get it wrong.
You think too much, do you know that?
Yeah, I know.
See you in the trenches, Doc.
Yeah, I'll be the one on the fence. Such a coward. Hello, Jane Halifax. Yes, Miss Barr?
I'm sorry I was so brusque with you the other day. I was in no mood to talk to anyone.
I understand.
When I thought about it, I realized you have a job to do and that I should help in whatever way I can. I hope you don't mind. This is what you might call neutral ground. Let's talk.
Sure.
You asked about Sharon. She was always a handful. Tears and tantrums for every occasion.
Were you close?
I watched her grow up.
You must have worked for Sir Edward for a while then.
23 years next month. I'm not ready to go back. Not yet.
Did Sharon get along with her stepmother?
They tolerated one another. There was never any warmth. That was always Sharon.
Can you think of a reason?
No.
She was, 6 when her mother died, wasn't she?
Yes.
Why did she commit suicide?
She didn't. There were rumors. She died following a short illness.
What kind of illness?
They suspected it was a parasite picked up in New Guinea during Sir Edward's government posting there. She went into a coma and never came out of it. I must get used to doing this sort of thing. Starting a new life.
You don't have a family?
No, I've always lived on my own. Just never got round to it. What about you?
Yeah, no. No, not yet. One day, maybe.
Don't let it pass you by.
What was Sharon's relationship with her father like?
He spoiled her. Don't all fathers?
Did you ever have any reason to believe she was being abused?
Abused?
Psychologically or sexually?
No, none whatsoever. You do realize who you're talking about?
Yes.
Did she put you up to this?
Miss Bauer?
She's a born liar, if there is such a thing. She was always lying, doing things to embarrass her father. He was a good man.
Miss Bauer, the disorder is always associated with a history of severe childhood trauma, very often sexual abuse.
I don't profess to know anything about your field of work, Dr. Halifax, but I did know Sir Edward, perhaps better than anyone else. And believe me, it is just not possible.
Little Sweetie is the part of Sharon that died when she was abused as a child.
Have you elicited that personality?
Oh, yeah, but only under hypnosis. The memory's just too painful.
Is that little sweetie?
Yep. All innocence. Where was this?
It was found at the murder scene.
I think that's very telling.
Look, I'd like to activate some of these personalities, get to meet them for myself.
That's not a good idea.
I understand the danger.
Look, you've already had one experience. You saw how she reacted. Now, I've spent a lot of time winning her confidence, and
You
I don't
do
want...
realise I have a job to do.
The court authority merely stipulates that you have limited access to Sharon and her psychiatric history. I've given you more than that because I want you to form the correct opinion.
Which is?
She's unfit to plead. In my opinion. I think Sharon's legal people might have some objection too.
Well, why don't you ask them?
You're not thoroughly convinced?
Dr. Coonahan, I have an assessment to make, and I would like to be as thorough as possible.
Well, that's as it should be.
If you had to make an assessment, what would it be?
Well, at this stage, I believe Dr. Halifax has certain doubts.
What? She questions your diagnosis?
She hasn't come out and said as much.
Well, what is it then?
She wants to meet Sharon's alternate personalities.
Is that a problem?
Well, do we have to oblige? Legally speaking?
No, but I don't see why you'd have any objections.
You know, eliciting alternate personalities is not something to be approached lightly.
Surely, Doctor, you want to convince her of your diagnosis.
Yes, of course.
Then I don't have a problem if you don't.
You're going back in time. You're getting younger and younger. You're now 12. You're still getting younger to when you were 7. Now you are 5. Today is your 5th birthday. When I touch your hand, you'll open your eyes and talk with me. Hello?
Hello.
What's your name?
Mommy calls me Little Sweetie. She bought me some colour pencils for my birthday.
Do you like to draw? Daddies sometimes do things that make children happy, and sometimes they do things that make children unhappy. Can you tell me about some of the things your father did you didn't like? Did your father make you unhappy sometimes?
Sometimes.
Tell me how.
Indy windy spider climbed up the water spout. Down come the rain and wash poor Windy out. Out come the sun and dried up all the rain. And Indy windy spider climbed up the spout again. Hello, Daddy. I'm drawing a picture of the garden. I don't want to play Daddy's game. No, I don't want to play Daddy's game. Mommy. Mommy. No. Don't lock the door, Daddy. Don't lock the door. It's spider in the water spout. I'd come the rain and wash for me out.
Yes?
Dr. Jane Halifax?
I can't remember anything about a lock.
Well, can I talk to little sweetie again?
No.
Sharon, what happened in that room? Have you always been aware of these memories?
I suppressed them.
When did they start to return?
About the same time I started therapy.
I'd like to get a little more specific.
Well, if you want specifics, then maybe you should read the book.
What book?
The one Dr. Cunahan's writing.
Is it about you?
It's about all of us. People have a morbid fascination for sufferers of MPD.
This book, how long's he been working on it?
A couple of years at least.
You're writing a book about Sharon.
On MPD.
I could be cynical.
What, say I have a vested interest? Have you never written about your special field?
Of course, there could be one other valid explanation.
And what's your hypothesis, Doctor?
That you've come to believe she actually has this particular disorder.
I made a thorough diagnosis based on extensive examinations.
Which caused her to reinterpret events from her childhood to suit. Things that might never have happened.
Do you have evidence of this?
Little Sweetie's story doesn't hold up. There was no lock on the study door.
The door was changed.
You know that for a fact, do you?
No. But it's a sound enough explanation.
False memory syndrome. That's all we need.
Repressed memory therapy is a legitimate and respected technique. You know, it hasn't been destroyed by one or two sensational cases.
I'm not inundated with confidence.
It's highly probable that the lock was changed.
Look into the history of the Sinclair house. Extensions, renovations, anything that might give us an explanation.
And we've got to know what Halifax thinks. Any progress there?
I'll try her again.
As soon as she's reported on fitness to plead.
Why do you need Dr. Halifax?
For expert testimony.
What do you think I am?
Her psychiatrist. And you'll be called on as such. But you're not an independent expert.
Listen, I know more about MPD than Jane Halifax, pretty as she is, will ever know.
And we'll use that for all it's worth. But from the prosecution's point of view, you're conflicted. You have a vested interest.
In what?
In Sharon Sinclair's innocence.
After 4 years of treatment, you're hardly going to change your diagnosis, are you?
No, of course I'm not.
Oh. Game, set and match the prosecution. You're biased.
I don't want all this to turn on MPD. It's too specific, too novel. Too much of a risk. I want a complete rundown on all the authorities, see where our facts fit in. I'll take precedent from wherever I can.
So, do you need me anymore?
I don't think so, do we?
We'll call you. Thanks for coming in, Doctor.
Thank you.
I don't know whether I can bring myself to go inside.
I wouldn't ask unless it was really important.
So many memories.
Miss Bower, was there ever a lock on this door?
A lock? Not that I can recall.
Were there ever any renovations done?
About 18 years ago, we went overseas.
We?
Sir Edward was on a goodwill visit to China on behalf of the government. I went as his secretary.
Was this after Sir Edward's wife died?
Yes.
Where was Sharon?
Boarding school.
She alleges that this is where the abuse took place.
She's a little liar.
Why?
Look, she was a lonely child.
In what sense?
Her mother died. Another took her place. It was a busy time in Teddy's career.
Teddy?
Sir Edward. Sharon did everything she could to get her father's attention. But unfortunately, turned vindictive.
Why did she kill him?
Isn't it obvious, Dr. Halifax? She's the sole heir.
Providing she's found not guilty.
By reason of insanity. That's where you come in.
What makes you so sure?
Something about her. Something unnatural. When she was 13, she wanted to become a writer.
That's quite common.
She invented a story about a girl who had everything, but wanted more. So she killed her parents to get it.
Jane, the fact is you're very familiar with the case and you've spent quite a bit of time with Sharon.
Beth, what if you come back to me after fitness to plead's been heard, and then I'll know what I think.
Okay, but promise me you'll be available.
We'll see.
Jane, you're always my first choice.
What about Sharon's doctor?
Sharon's doctor? You know the value of an independent witness.
Look, once I've delivered my report.
All right, but I won't take no for an answer.
Oh, I know that, Beth.
Okay, bye, Jane.
Bye.
Saying much tonight?
Better, isn't it?
Much.
So, you made it.
We both did. This reminds me of my place.
Would you like a drink?
Oh, usually I wouldn't bother if you're opening something. Champagne.
It was handy. Sharon Sinclair's legal people called me today.
Really?
Get me on board if the case goes to trial.
Inside running. Prosecutor wants you too.
How do you know?
He told me.
What do you mean he told you?
He just happened to mention it, that's all.
When?
Yesterday when I saw him.
Well, how did my name come up?
He brought it up. It just came up.
What do you mean it just came up? What does he know about us?
Nothing. What's there to know? There's nothing to know. There is no us.
Just gotta be careful, that's all.
So if it happens, it has to happen in secret.
I haven't thought it through.
Well, don't. For God's sake, you'll analyse it out of existence. Don't you ever do anything spontaneously?
Asleep.
Oh, very sexy. I'm finishing my report on fitness to plead. It's due in the morning.
You didn't mention that earlier.
I had other things on my mind. Oh, Snoop.
So what's the recommendation?
I think she knows what's going on. Most of the time.
And what about when she doesn't?
Well, that's the point. That's why we need the trial.
So you think she's faking?
No, I didn't say that.
But you think she's fit to plead?
Yeah, I do.
I hope you're not going to disappoint me.
Beth, look, I've given this a lot of thought. I'm not joining the defense.
Does this mean you're joining the prosecution?
No. I'm not joining either side.
Why not?
She's fit to plead, but after that, I'm just not sure.
I was depending on you.
Oh.
No, Coonahan isn't enough on his own. He's involved. He's her therapist.
Good luck with the case. I really wish you well, I do.
Well, the value lies in interpreting the events in light of what we know about Sharon's personality system. Now, a picture like this was found at the house after the bodies were discovered.
What is its significance?
Well, little Sweetie is the childhood innocence that was taken away from Sharon when she was abused as a child. This is how she was represented until recent events. I think the fact that little Sweetie reappeared where she did is very significant. Now, this is Martha. She represents the mother figure, and she's blind.
How do you interpret this, Dr. Cunahan?
Well, I think it's likely that Sharon's biological mother witnessed, or was at least aware of what was going on.
That she was being abused by her father, Sir Edward.
Objection. Sustained. May I have the lights on, please?
Let me rephrase. How is this relevant to Sharon?
Sharon's mother committed suicide around this time. I think the...
Objection. There's no proof of that at all.
Your Honor, she was admitted to hospital in a coma following an overdose of antidepressants. She never regained consciousness, and she died approximately 6 weeks later. Press reports at the time stated the possible cause of death as a rare form of meningitis, allegedly out of respect for the family.
Allegedly?
Well, one can assume that it was covered up because Sir Edward was running at the same time for parliamentary pre-selection.
Court will come to order. Proceed, Mr. Priest.
Doctor, you say that Sharon was sexually abused by her father.
Yes, I do.
Was the accused aware of this abuse when you began your treatment?
No, she was not.
What technique did you use in your therapy?
A combination of many techniques.
Did you use repressed memory therapy?
Yes, I did.
A technique, I believe, that has come under some scrutiny of late in the courts?
Well, there have been a small number of generally over-sensationalized cases where the therapy has been called into question, but, you know, these instances are pretty much in the minority. The technique is respected and widely used.
Thank you, Doctor. I'll call expert evidence in support of these contentions later, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Further sensation in the trial of Sharon Sinclair for the murder of her father and stepmother. The defence today introduced evidence alleging that the heiress was sexually abused by her father, the respected soldier and businessman, Sir Edward Sinclair. The question everyone's now asking is, did the Sinclair family have a dark secret? Joanne Best from the Supreme Court in Melbourne.
Oh, hello, Miss Halifax.
Miss Bow, I noticed you leaving the court.
I haven't been feeling well. In fact, I'm afraid
Why did you lie to me?
I haven't.
Why did she commit suicide? Because she knew about the abuse?
There was no abuse. I think perhaps you'd better come inside. Teddy would never have done anything like that. Sir Edward was a true gentleman. He should be remembered for all the good he did, not have his name sullied like this. It's bad enough that she killed him. Now she wants to destroy him all over again.
You were very fond of him, weren't you?
I spent the best part of my working life as his personal assistant, looking after his interests, looking after him, you might say.
So could you be considered biased?
I can prove he was a loving, caring father. Perhaps there's something you should see.
What's up?
There was a lock on the study door.
What?
It was there at the time. Sharon was telling the truth. And if that's true, then probably everything is.
Is this cryptic or something?
My main concern about repressed memory was the absence of a lock. A lock that she linked to the room where she claimed the abuse took place.
Does it matter?
Of course it matters. It influenced my decision on fitness to plead. I believed she was either lying or being deluded by her therapist. MPD depends on childhood trauma, and I didn't think it was there.
Well, so she'll be found not guilty because of insanity.
But I shouldn't be putting her through this. It could have been avoided.
But that's not your responsibility. That's what juries are for. Come on, stop. Stop. Come on, I'm buying you dinner.
No.
Doc.
It was a mistake, Paul. I shouldn't have allowed myself to be distracted.
What?
We're working together. It affected my judgment.
You're blaming me for this lock?
No, I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming me. I'm blaming me for getting involved at all. I'm sorry.
You're sorry.
I just wanted to apologize if you misunderstood me.
Stop kidding yourself. I can do better than this. So what was the other night? A lapse in judgment.
Probably.
You know, I hope you work it out, Doc.
He'd touch me, and, he'd ask me if it felt good. And, well, it did. It was just a game of his. I'm sorry.
It's all right, Sharon. Take your time.
Well, Mummy wasn't home. He'd undress me. And he'd touch me. And he'd get me to touch him. And then, he'd lift me on his lap. and he'd put it inside me.
No! Liar! Filthy liar!
Miss Bauer, Anthea.
Teddy couldn't have. She's lying, believe me. It's not true.
Then what is the truth?
Madeline Sinclair was a slut. She was quite public about her liaisons. Even enjoyed Teddy's humiliation. Sometimes you wonder if that sort of thing is not passed on.
From mother to daughter.
Teddy did everything he could to protect Sharon from the truth, even after Madeline was dead. He spoiled her, but only until he realized that she was running wild.
Then what did he do?
About 4 years ago, he said there would be no more money and no more lies. But Sharon, being the spoilt brat that she is, didn't believe it.
Are you saying that Sharon concocted the story about child abuse?
When Teddy couldn't stand his wife's behaviour any longer, he turned elsewhere for comfort.
To you?
It wasn't wrong.
I'm sure you did.
And then something happened. Perhaps that destroyed everything. Sharon walked in on us. We thought the door was locked.
The study door?
Yes. She was only 5. I was so guilty. So ashamed. If there was any abuse, that was it. Her father making love to another woman that wasn't her beloved mother.
I doubt if you could call that abuse. What are you saying? If Sharon has multiple personality disorder, it almost certainly wasn't caused by seeing you and Sir Edward making love. You've suffered for nothing.
Well, it was a difficult decision. I think I know what you're going through.
Pardon?
And recommending fitness to plead.
I don't think you understand why I'm here. When you took Sharon back through her repressed memories, how clearly did she remember?
Sorry, I don't know what you mean.
Well, were there gaps? Portions of memory that were intact, followed by gaps where she'd forgotten?
Which is not unusual, as you know.
So she remembered the room, for instance, that it was a study and that something disturbing took place, but the details weren't complete.
What are you trying to say?
Something happened in the study, Dr. Cunahan. And it involved Sharon and Sir Edward, but not in the way you think. When Sharon was 5 years old, she walked in on her father having sex with his secretary.
Who, Anthea?
From that point on, the battle lines were drawn. Her father was bad, her mother was good. And nothing anyone could say could convince her otherwise. Anthea was evil too, part of her father's camp. He had all the money, but he didn't love Sharon's mother, he loved someone else.
What, all this from a 5-year-old, huh?
No, I'm not saying she understood it then. But through a process of reconstruction, she came to believe it was true. And it fueled a terrible hatred.
No, it couldn't possibly be right, because it would be no basis for MPD.
No, it's not. It is, however, a basis for false memory.
You know what you're saying?
If Sharon didn't suffer extreme childhood trauma, then she doesn't have MPD.
You're going to destroy everything, aren't you?
I think she could be faking. And I think she's been faking the condition for almost 4 years.
Bullshit!
Hello, Sharon.
You again.
The judge has asked me to see how you're doing.
Oh, she worried, is she?
You know, I'm curious about Anthea. She was really upset when she left the court. The evidence was clearly distressing for her.
For Anthea? For Anthea? What about me? What about Sharon? You know, my heart truly bleeds, Doctor.
Must have been difficult giving such distressing evidence in front of so many people.
I've never talked about it without, switching. And it was pretty, Then again, after 4 years of therapy, I guess I can, at times, reconcile myself to the fact that I had an abusive father.
Sometimes and not others.
Do you know there's a documented case of a girl who was being physically and sexually abused, and she didn't even know about it? Can you get the courage involved in that? You know, I know how that feels, Jane. So don't talk to me about Anthea. Distressing for Anthea.
I've heard some things about your mother, Sharon. Not nice things.
Don't you talk to me about my mother. My father is the one who deprived me. Going overseas for weeks, sending me to boarding school, trying to make up for it with gifts and money I didn't want. He married Yvonne so soon after my mother died. And then he spent all his time with Anthea. My mother was perfect. And don't you dare think otherwise. So what if she was highly strung? Do you know, she was beautiful and talented, and she wanted to be an actress. And you know what? He wouldn't let her!
He gave you everything, Sharon. He did everything he could to make up for your mother's neglect.
No. My mother was divine. She was divine. And my father was a monster, and he deserved to die.
The thing is, Sharon, people with genuine MPD don't experience such intense love and hate without a change in personality.
Ha! Ha! You don't know that. Yeah, right. You don't know that. You don't know me. You don't know the real me. No one does. My mother was beautiful. And she called me, a princess. So don't hurt me like this! Don't hurt me like this! Don't hurt Sharon like this! Because my mother was beautiful. And she loved me. She loved me. And she killed herself. She killed herself. I can't bear that. I can't bear that. I can't even say. I can't even say. Oh, God. You know, the last time my mummy touched me, I was 4 years old, and I was acting out her favorite. It was Princess, and she loved me. She loved me. She said I could have anything in the world I wanted. Anything in the world I wanted.
Hi.
You might be interested in this. Mick found it amongst the papers. It's an article on an obscure case in the US. Some woman called Kosminski with multiple personalities was tried for murder. I'd say at least 2 of Sharon's alters are based on what's written there. Kind of puts the lock into context, wouldn't you say?
Poor Sharon.
Poor Sharon. Bullshit. She's a murderer.
You better give that to Silverstein.
He's got it.
You should also tell him that I'm willing to give evidence for the prosecution.
What's brought this on?
The act's beginning to crack.
Jane? Do you think I could, call you when the case is over, if there's a little more distance between us? So you let your feelings get in the road of a professional relationship, big deal.
I'm supposed to be above that. It's my job.
Yeah. Now, can I ring you?
That's up to you.
I like being fallible. Makes me feel like a human being. You should try it sometime.
Well, as they say in the classics, stay tuned.
Dr. Halifax, it is alleged that the defendant has multiple personality disorder, MPD, which is called a dissociative disorder.
Basically, yes.
Now, the brainwave test results the defence has introduced, are they foolproof?
I believe not.
Why is that?
Well, many such test results are inconclusive. Recent research in the United States between diagnosed multiples and simulated alternate personalities showed no significant differences in test results.
By simulated personalities, you mean someone faking?
I object to the word faking.
The word's permissible.
May it please the court.
I repeat, by simulated personalities, you mean someone faking?
That's right.
Pretending to switch from one personality to another?
Yes.
As you've seen the defendant do on numerous occasions?
Yes.
So the same results could have been achieved if the defendant were faking?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Proceed, Mr. Silverstein.
Now, we've seen videotapes of the defendant in an allegedly dissociative state. Is there any way of knowing that she's faking?
Not from those tapes.
It could all be a performance.
Yes.
A convincing act.
Possibly.
Dr. Halifax, what is your professional opinion of the accused's relationship with her parents?
I believe she has a very disturbed and confusing attitude towards them.
Well, could you expand on that, Doctor?
From the moment of her mother's death, she idolised her as an object of intense love, goodness and talent, while in her father she saw only the opposite qualities.
Now, on the evidence you've seen, was this an accurate assessment of her parents?
I believe it was and is a total and absolute reversal of the truth.
No, no, you don't know that. You don't know that. My mother was beautiful. She wanted to be an actress, and he wouldn't let her. Order. But she loved me. Order. I was a princess. She said I could have anything in the world I wanted. I could you do this, Jane? Don't you do this?
The court will come to order.
This is my life, Jane. This is my life.
The court will come to order. Stand the prisoner down.
Good. Because I'm not going to stand here any longer and listen to you call my life a total and absolute reversal of the truth. That's what you said, isn't it? Well, I remember. Me, Sharon, I remember. Sharon Sinclair, I remember. My father was bad, and he deserved to die. Now, you can call it MPD, you can call it what you like, but I call it retribution.
Court will be adjourned till this afternoon.
Silence, all stand. This court stands adjourned until 2:30 p.m.
Shame about your book, Doctor. I guess it wasn't the end you were expecting.
The last time my mother ever touched me, I was 4 years old. I was acting out her favorite as princess. She loved me. She said I would have anything in the world. Anything.